streets are festooned again with lush and colorful hanging baskets. BKAT's been wondering, how long has the City of Bremerton Parks Department been doing the flowers and what goes into making them happen? You curious too? Well, we got the scoop, so join us for this edition of Inside Bremerton.
The City of Bremerton has been hanging baskets for over 30 years. We hang the baskets downtown primarily to beautify the downtown corridor. We also hang them on Callow and in the Manette area. We hang those yearly and we get a lot of compliments on the color and how it makes downtown Bremerton and the surrounding areas more beautiful and colorful. Two types of petunias we use, tidal wave and easy wave. So the easy wave petunias, we primarily use those in pots and in ground coverings in the city. Tidal waves, however, we put in the hanging baskets, and their tendency to grow is downward, and that's why you see them drooping way down below the pot. Eventually the pot disappears, and all you see is flowering petunias, and the black pots that you see in May turn into just a mass of flowers and plant materials. Plants are pre-ordered actually in the month of September so we can get the colors we need. The tidal wave petunias is a much smaller options in colors, so we order them as soon as we can. If we order later than September, we're not guaranteed our colors. We used to buy petunia seed, and we've put them in a 9x13 tray and put our topsoil in and dumped the seed in. Now, petunia seeds are very, very tiny if you've ever seen one. And there was no way for us to separate them, so we throw them into a tray, we wait for them to germinate, and then we take tweezers and pluck each and every one of the plants out, and we put them into like a Dixie cup size of a pot. And then from there, we would transfer them to a 1-gallon pot when they got big enough. And from there, we would transfer them into the hanging baskets or into the ground cover. The problem with that process is very time consuming, and mortality, we lost probably on the average about 50% from start to finish because we were handling so many times. Now we buy plugs, and they are almost perfect. And we can transfer those plugs directly from the containers they come in into the pots. So there's no more handling them 3 or 4 times before we plant them. We plant them directly into the hanging baskets now. So it's eliminated all that handling and the mortality. We hardly lose any. It's probably 10 plants maybe a year is all we lose. And we order over 1,000 plants every year. About 1,500, I believe, is the number. Much different process.
We got a silver one, we got those...
Scott Ferrito is Bremerton Parks Department's dedicated and fun-loving greenhouse manager.
Tidal wave.
Scott's been with Parks now for more than 30 years and has a neon green thumb. It's Scott's job to bring these plant babies up from plugs to bountiful baskets.
All of this for the hanging basket. The maintenance don't block this bar right here or those hanger.
Supervising volunteers and staff in their care.
Bremerton Garden Club now helps us. They volunteer every year. We let them know when the petunias are arriving.
We always know that this time of year, that it's coming up. And so we all watch our email.
And they happily come and help us plant those. And then we have our full-time employees also planting the petunias. The idea is once they get here is to get them out of the trays that they come in because they were shipped to us and get them into the pots as quickly as we can. And that just helps mortality rate also. It takes about 16 full-time people along with the Bremerton Garden Club to put the plugs into the pots. It's great to have the Garden Club be a part of the petunia program. And the reason being is it helps reduce the amount of labor that we have to put into it as well. And it gives them joy as well. It makes them a part of something that the city is proud to do.
We're putting these little plugs in here that are pretty dainty right now. And so you want to optimize the contact with the soil. Poking a hole so your plug goes into the hole. 4 equally spaced. We have 2 colors, and they're just randomly put in so that all of our pots look natural. Doesn't that look cute? I can't wait till spring.
Why do we use the bucket with the little holes in it? And like Leanne had explained it earlier, it goes into the center of the basket in order for it to drain once they water it, and it distributes all the water into the soil. And you're supposed to center it and level it with the top of the basket and pack it in, and then you just cut the plastic off and plant your little petunias, and you're off and ready to start another one. And this has really been an experience because I've often wondered, driven around Bremerton, you see, even on Callow, I believe, they have all these beautiful hanging baskets. And I've always wondered, how in the world do they layer them? And so this has been a nice experience for me, first time, and I just love it.
I've come every year that we've had the volunteering from the Bremerton Garden Club, and this all started because the Garden Club came here to the greenhouses for a field trip. And so we got all the instruction on how this happens, and how many plants they can do and how much work it takes. And we're like, hey, you need volunteers? And they said, as a matter of fact, yes. And we're trainable. So I think they don't fix many of the baskets we make.
Volunteers are very important to us. We use volunteers as much as we can, when we can, when it benefits both them and us.
I was just floored when I saw how few plants went in. When you look at the size of the baskets, you'd think that there were tons. But seven plants is all that are in each basket.
I love the petunias. They're beautiful. I tried to do this at home, and you have to have the cascading petunias, and I didn't get the right kind the first year. So they're beautiful. I just love it. Every year there seems to be new colors or new color combinations. So I'm really excited to see this year's baskets.
You can see where you're watering in see that,
The baskets are in this greenhouse and in the pots for about 11 weeks. We grow them here, we fertilize them, we treat them for aphids and as well before they ever go outside. So the plants go out healthy, and hopefully they are free of any kind of insects that love petunias, which are sweet and sticky. If you ever touch petunias, they have a lot of juice to them, and it attracts aphids especially. Love petunias. So we fight against that in the greenhouse. We water them. When they leave the greenhouse, they leave mature and healthy.
Scott has even invented some ingenious tools over the years of hanging basket production.
This is that homemade Filipino toasted.
You have to actually prune the petunias from the bottom prior to us leaving the greenhouse, and that helps reduce the damage they get. Because when they go out downtown, they're pretty good sized plants by now. And so in order to reduce the damage from transportation, we actually hand prune each one of the baskets before they leave the greenhouse.
These petunias are tough cookies, tolerating a major pruning to prepare them for the jolt that comes from being transported from the greenhouses to their public debut.
We now put together 221 pots for the downtown area.
And when the trucks arrive, people come out to celebrate the occasion and snap pictures.
1, 2, you go.
Yeah, this was the second time we've seen them actually hoisted up and put into place since we moved up to our new location. And it's a thrill, it's exciting, it's a rite of spring. It's a notable point of Bremerton when our visitors come and they see all these magnificent baskets that the city puts together. It just, I get excited like a little kid. I just love it.
It's all hands on deck in mid-May when it's time to take the baskets out to be hung. It's very physical work to hang these.
You got your wrench on you? Okay.
And they have a tried and true system for efficiency and safety.
So we have to take in consideration safety. not just for the public, but for our employee as well. And we take into consideration informational signs. So we hang the baskets so they don't interfere.
Scott and crew like to get the baskets out about a week ahead of the annual Armed Forces Day Parade. That way they can settle in and bounce back into full bloom in time for this special event. You may think that once the baskets are hung, the work is done. But oh no, the real work is just beginning. Did you know that each of the 221 baskets needs to be watered every day from May to September? Yep, and fertilized every 2 weeks by Parks' plant-loving crews to stay blooming and happy.
They take a lot of water. Petunias love water, so we have to water the pots every day. That's a manual job that we have one person do throughout the season, growing season, which is we hang them in May, we take them down around September. And we have to take in consideration where we hang them by intersections. So if the intersection has a lot of traffic, we have a water truck. And so it's a truck with a water tank on it, and it's in the street. And so is our person watering those flowers.
The city of Bremerton's stunning hanging baskets are a true source of pride and an ongoing 30-year tradition.
I love that they're out for Armed Forces Day. That's, I think, the best part. The city looks beautiful, and the flowers enhance that, and it's very celebratory, and it's everybody finally getting out. The parade is always wonderful, and the flowers just really enhance how beautiful the city is for Armed Forces Day Parade.
The next time you're enjoying the gorgeous hanging petunias on Pacific Avenue, you'll know the story behind these local icons and appreciate them even more.
I gotta leave, I gotta go.